Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
In the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Searching for an alleged killer. Police are looking for a 19-year-old who they say stabbed another woman, but a bizarre twist as to where the woman died.
Kern County moves into phase 2 of reopening, and restaurants are ready to welcome back customers. Some of the unique things they're doing to keep people safe.
And it's the start of what once was a busy travel weekend, but COVID-19 put a stop to that. The warning from one California beach: would-be visitors.
Good morning, 5 a.m. Great to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen, coming to you from my home here in Tehachapi. Alex Fisher in downtown Bakersfield. Kevin Charette in southwest Bakersfield. Yeah, it is finally Friday. It is Memorial Day weekend. Hard to believe we're already here, and the temperatures are really going to feel like it this weekend.
Well, absolutely. It is the unofficial start to the summer season. Let's turn things over to Kevin Charette, who has a look at your forecast on this finally Friday. Kev.
It is finally Friday, and I actually made my way out yesterday. I know some of the restaurants opened around town, and I ventured actually in the southwest here to Tahoe Joe's, one of my favorite spots. And I'll tell you, they really have changed everything in that restaurant in terms of social distancing. I was pretty impressed and wanted to kind of see how restaurants were taking this. And let me just say, they're taking it very seriously. So if you are going to be heading out to any of these restaurants that are open, just keep that in mind, that social distancing. It is a holiday weekend, so it is going to be busy no matter what, and so we'll just have to keep that in the back of our minds here. Now, the temperatures are also going to be warming up here, getting into the weekend and into next week. Now, today, going to be kind of a carbon copy of yesterday with those mid-80s. We hit 85 degrees, and that's right at normal for this time of year. 103, the record set back in 1988. As we take a look at temperatures right now, Bakersfield sits at 63 degrees under a calm wind, and here's a look at the satellite and radar. Nothing to show you. We're looking clear as we go throughout today. How about our dog walk forecast? And you can see we're going to start out in the 60s at 8 a.m. And then as we progress throughout the afternoon, we'll be in the 80s again. By 5 o'clock, we'll be right near 86. And for me, when I walk the dog, 86, getting a little bit warm out there. So just keep that in mind. 50 in Tehachapi at this time with a west wind at 10. And as we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast here, we're going to be looking at the upper 60s and a few lower 70s out there as well. Alex, triple digits are still on the way. I've got details on that coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Kev.
All right, your time now is 5:02 and you here at Sunrise. Police are searching for a woman they say stabbed another woman in East Bakersfield early yesterday morning. Now, we first brought you this story as breaking news right here on 17 News at Sunrise yesterday. This is 19-year-old Jennifer Maldonado. Police say she's wanted for murder. Officers say she stabbed a woman around 1:45 yesterday morning in the area of East 9th Street and South Owens Street. One neighbor, Regina Shaw, says the area is usually quiet and nothing like this has happened there. She also says it started off with a large group fighting in the middle of the street. But the victim didn't die at the scene. Police say she was being driven to Kern Medical when the car she was riding in crashed just 2 miles away. CHP says it appears the driver was drunk when she ran a red light near the corner of Mount Vernon and Niles Streets and hit one car and careened into another. That driver was identified as a 22-year-old Tehachapi resident. Police believe the stabbing victim died of her stab wounds and not due to the crash. Here's another look at the stabbing suspect, 19-year-old Jennifer Maldonado. She's 5'3", 150 pounds. If you know where she is, call Bakersfield Police at 327-7111.
A man is in the hospital following a shooting in Wasco. Sheriff's deputies say the man showed up at the substation on F Street with a gunshot wound around 7:30 last night. He told deputies the shooting happened at Westside Park. The man was flown to Kern Medical, where he's stable. No further information has been released at this time. If you have any information, call KCSO at 861-3110.
Drunk driving and pedestrian safety, two issues we follow closely here at KGET, coming together in another deadly crash. This one happened Wednesday night at the corner of Union Avenue and 4th Street. According to Bakersfield Police, a man was crossing the street against the light and hit by a suspected drunk driver. Officers arrested 24-year-old William Chavez Castro. They say Castro was also driving without a license. BPD says this is the 11th deadly traffic crash they've investigated this year. And that man's death marks the second pedestrian accident in 2 days. Overall, crashes have killed 9 pedestrians in Bakersfield this year. CHP and BPD combined have responded to 23 deadly car crashes as well.
Now to the latest local data on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Public Health reported 39 new cases yesterday. That brings our total to 1,654 positive cases. Kern's death toll stands at 25, with no new deaths reported since Saturday. 1,104 people have recovered from the virus. More than 16,000 tests for COVID-19 have come back negative, while more than 900 are still pending.
And Kern County has begun moving further into phase 2. A number of sectors started to reopen yesterday, such as dine-in restaurants, malls, retailers, and swap meets. Kern officials say this allows us to kickstart our economy, but there's still public safety measures to consider. The state has a 12-page document of guidelines and suggestions for businesses. They strongly encourage employees and customers to wear face coverings when possible. Businesses now are asked to screen for temperatures and symptoms for all workers, vendors, and contractors at the start and the end of the shift. And customers must be spaced 6 feet apart, and that means some places have to operate under reduced capacity. To help follow these guidelines, the Bakersfield City Council voted to approve expanding the restaurant dining into sidewalks and streets. County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop says he wants to see other cities follow Bakersfield's suit.
I would call on every single city in this county to do the same. Follow the city of Bakersfield's lead, see what they did, and copy it, and get it done in your own communities. Help your local restaurants out.
One local restaurant owner is excited about the prospect of expanding her dining area. Audrey Chavez of Martin's Meats at 21st and Q Streets is already making a plan.
We'd like to be able to put some tables out in this area here, maybe 4 or 5 tables along this stretch here. Have some awning, thank you, have some awning come off from the building here so that there can be some shaded area for seating and tables, and then maybe some fencing and some flower arrangements hanging off.
It works through an expedited permitting process where local business owners can apply to take over outdoor spaces for dining and shopping. The challenge to open safely also brings with it innovation. Tina Marie's Cafe in downtown Bakersfield is gearing up for its grand reopening at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning with plexiglass partitions, single-use plasticware, and regular temperature taking for employees. Plus, a menu you can find on your phone.
You just take your phone, any camera, you open it up, you hover it over the barcode, and hands-free, goes right to the menu, order off of there.
Restaurants we spoke with said they're ready to get back to work while keeping everyone safe. Businesses impacted by the stay-at-home order will soon be able to apply for stimulus relief through the county. Applications are expected to be on the county website early next week.
The time now is 5:08. The outlets at Tahone have announced they will reopen on May 27th. The company says this will be a phased reopening with some individual stores opening before some others. A spokesperson says the janitorial crew has conducted a thorough cleaning of the entire center, adding hand sanitizing stations have been installed in some public areas, as well as signage reminding shoppers of suggested COVID-19 safety precautions such as social distancing and mask wearing. As an additional safety precaution, the food court, Camp Tahone, and all kiddie rides will remain temporarily closed.
And there are still many businesses and other public places that are not open because they're considered high risk. Here's a list of what is supposed to remain closed until we move into phase 3. That's personal services like salons, tattoo parlors, gyms, and fitness studios. Also closed, nightclubs, bars, wineries, tasting lounges, entertainment venues, arcades, indoor museums, zoos, libraries, playgrounds, public pools, picnic areas, as well as state parks and houses of worship. Well,
it's that last one, houses of worship, that have plenty of people in California very upset. Faith leaders across the state are prepared to defy Governor Gavin Newsom's order and hold in-person religious services next Sunday. The group of 1,200 pastors signed a declaration deeming themselves essential, with an agreement to open up their congregations May 31st. The attorney representing them, Robert Tyler, says an estimated 3,000 houses of worship will move to open sooner than the state wants them to.
It's real easy for people to just say, well, you're just looking for a legal fight. You're looking to, stand on the Constitution and declare your rights. And that's not what's happening here. The secondary effects are so enormous, and people are dying. People are committing suicide. People are depressed, and there's anxiety, and they're falling back on opioids and drug addiction and alcoholism. And these pastors are simply saying, we have to get back to it.
This comes as the U.S. Department of Justice this week said California's order puts an unfair burden on churches. In his most recent update, Governor Gavin Newsom says the state is weeks away from reopening in-person services. As of last night, the governor's office has not responded to the group's letter.
We have some breaking news from Pakistan this morning. Officials say a passenger plane with 107 people on board has crashed. This happened in a residential area near the international airport in Karachi. The mayor of Karachi, who was on scene at the crash site, says there are no survivors. Aviation officials say the Airbus A320 was a passenger plane belonging to the state-run Pakistan International Airlines. Witnesses say the plane tried to land 2 or 3 times before it ultimately crashed.
The time now is 5:34. Back here at home, senators are leaving a $3 trillion coronavirus rescue bill on the table as they break for Memorial Day.
Tracy Potts has that story, plus concerns about coronavirus spreading during the holiday weekend.
Maddie and Alex, good morning. Good morning, everyone. This holiday weekend could be a sigh of relief for people who've been stuck indoors, but that's part of the concern, that people will be out and about in crowds, perhaps spreading the virus. We know lawmakers will be out of Washington with no sign of economic relief.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's $3 trillion rescue bill with direct payments to Americans going nowhere as the Senate leaves for holiday break.
She could take her bill, eliminate every other word, cut the price by 75%, and it still wouldn't pass the Senate.
Republicans accused of wasting time.
Not one vote on legislation having to do with the COVID-19 in the entire month of May.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says they'll eventually vote.
Let me tell you what it won't be. It won't be a $3 trillion left-wing wish list.
There's such broad support. You may not know it yet, but they will come to the table.
Lawmakers at odds as America reopens, with fears that Memorial Day weekend could bring more crowded beaches. The CDC now says there's no evidence COVID-19 spreads through pools, hot tubs, play areas, and that it does not spread easily on surfaces. President Trump under the microscope again for only briefly wearing a mask at a Michigan Ford plant.
It was disappointing. It wasn't surprising, but it was disappointing.
I didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing it.
The president says he will not shut down the country if there's a second wave of illness this summer.
President Trump says he'll do what Democrats had recommended and order flags flown at half-staff to honor the more than 95,000 people who've died. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.